What's going on, Seth? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you, brother. All right, scoot this back just a little bit. There we go. There we go. Barrett Fragrances by Killian Vodka on the Rocks. Vodka straight. Philosophia, is that day 3? Ormond Jane, Montabac Intensivo. Killer fragrance. Killer fragrance, Joel. I actually get an Ormond Jane Discovery set coming in at the end of the week, so I know that Montabac Intensivo is an incredible tobacco fragrance. Monday scent of the day will be Bois 1920 Spigo. Nice. Doing great, just plugging my way away at work. Seth, what are you doing at work this late at night, man? Just bought today Low Paula's Ibiza. I haven't tried that. I've never even heard of that. But we got a lot of sick discovery sets coming in. We have a lot of... I went crazy. I spent niche money on discovery sets. I got Ormond Jane, full discovery set. I got day 3 full discovery set, including the newest fragrance, Trace Oros, included in that. I got Penhaligon's discovery set, Imaginary Authors discovery set, Javoy full discovery set. I think I already said Ormond Jane. Yeah, we've got so many discovery sets coming in, it's not even funny. Thank you, Joel. I moved from the Southern Cali to Massachusetts. I feel like people are just not as savvy with the scents here. Like, are we stuck in the last to know over here? Oh, you never know. You never know. You never know. I'll give you an example. I'm a hip-hop artist, and I used to think that there weren't that many people in Arizona that did music, and I just realized I wasn't outside that much. So in Massachusetts, you might just need to do a little bit more digging, maybe go to events, maybe see if there's any local independent fragrance perfumers there. You might need to check online, you know, type Massachusetts fragrances on YouTube and see if you can find any YouTubers in that space that are from where you are. I'm sure there's a community there. It just might be real pocketed and unheard of, but I'm sure you can find it. Scent of the day. My scent of the day was Parfums de Marly Galloway. I low-key want to be in my socks right now. Might take the shoes off in a bit. Oh. Yeah, man. I mean, I would hope I sound half decent. Like, I was sick for 3 weeks. I mean, that's insane. But you know what? You know what's crazy? I started really recovering like 3 days ago. And in the last 3 days, I have done 25 new episodes of content. So my YouTube queue is back up to almost a 3-week ahead of schedule deal. So I'm going to try to get it to where I'm a month ahead. But I have so many fragrances that it's hard to get through, man. Like, I have so many discovery sets coming in. I have over 100 fragrances of discovery sets coming in. Then, like, if you look in here, this little box, I have literally like, this is like all Xerjoff. I have like 6 decants in there. And then I have like this box full of decants. Like, that's like 20 fragrances. Then I have like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 bottles. I've already got 3 discovery sets right here. Like, I'm literally buried in about 200 new fragrances that I need to review. So it's going to take me an insane amount. But if I can at least get 1 month ahead of schedule where I have 30 videos clipped up ready to go, I'll be happy. And right now I'm at like 25. I'm doing like somewhere between 3 to 15 videos a day. So I'm back at it. Thank God. Yeah, Galloway is somewhat similar to Lalique White, only by about 70%. 30% of Lalique White is entirely different in Galloway, but they are in the same family. Yeah, they're definitely not redundant to have both, though. Lalique White is more of a clean, soapy, peppery, spicy, vetiver-y, bright citrus, white fragrance. Galloway on skin is more of an ambery, slightly sweet, clean experience, less of soapy. And the performance is better, obviously, because Lalique is an eau de toilette. This is a, might be eau de parfum or extrait, I forget. But either way, Galloway is like 8+ hours. Lalique is like 4 or 5. So, yeah. I got a 10 ml coming of Simon Andreoli Malibu Party in the Bay. Haven't heard of it, man. Have not heard of it. Nah, I found you, bro. Now I'll be up to date with what's up. Appreciate it. Absolutely, Seth. Absolutely. What are your thoughts on Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male Elixir? It's the best one out of all of the Jean-Paul Gaultiers on performance and DNA. Not really, Rebels. It's kind of a very generic, it's a very generic question that is not a one-liner answer. Even if I sat here and freestyled for like 5 minutes on discipline, it wouldn't really get you anywhere. I'd have to say that if you find yourself to be an undisciplined person, you don't have a reason to be disciplined. You don't have a good enough reason. Your life isn't penalized enough to need discipline. So I would say before you start researching it and finding all these tricks and tips and perspectives on it, you need to figure out why and what's an important reason for you to be disciplined before you even start. Because if your reason isn't strong enough, it doesn't matter how much you know. You'll always just be a smart idiot. What else y'all got for me, man? Y'all miss me or what, man? What kind of questions we got? If your reason for being disciplined is big enough, then you'll answer that question on your own. Because when you want to be disciplined more than you want to breathe and more than you want to live, you will scour the earth for... Well, I take that back. When your reason is strong enough, you will begin to make up ways to be disciplined, and then you'll modify them by the research. Somebody who doesn't really care that much to get disciplined will watch YouTube all day and look for tips and tricks and just never really stay committed with anything. So start with your reason, and that question will answer itself over time. It's like working out. So many people don't have a reason to work out that's big enough to stay committed to working out. They don't have a big enough reason to stay healthy, you know. But if you find out you might have cancer, or you find out you might be diabetic, or you find out, you know, you lost a loved one to health issues, or maybe you lost somebody to cancer due to smoking or something like that, then your life depends on getting your life together. And then it doesn't matter how many tricks or tips you know, you're going to do anything that you can to get started, and you'll figure out all the optimizing later. Anytime you want to know if your reason isn't big enough, just see how much you're trying to research. If you're trying to research stuff and get tips and tricks and advice and wisdom, your reason isn't big enough. What's up, Omar? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. We're back, Kicks. We're back, baby. Bong, bong. We're wearing that Galloway today, Kicks. We took Galloway to church today. What's good, Alex? What's good, BG? Hey, BG, that's strike one, man. Trolls get swept quick around here. I'll let it slide, though. Favorite parfums to Marley? I don't have a favorite. My top 4 currently, in no particular order, is Wajan, Carlisle, Galloway, and probably like Leighton Exclusive. And then 5th would be Sedley. Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, Joel, I would argue if your reason is great enough, you don't even need a plan. The plan makes itself when your reason is bigger enough. You know, it's like imagine you got attacked by a bear in the wild and you're about to die. You don't have time to plan. The urgency is so great. All you need to do is do anything humanly possible to survive. And then you might go back into that scenario with a plan, but in the moment, the urgency was so great, you just simply had to move. You had to escape. You had to do something. I honestly think that anybody who plans, that's the first sign that your reason isn't big enough. I think when your reason is big enough, you just begin to move. And then after you're moving and getting started and trying anything humanly possible to move forward, then you pick up things along the way that allows a plan to unfold. But if your reason is truly big enough, you don't have time to plan. You just got to go. The plan will make itself halfway along, you know. If your reason is big enough, you don't need a lot of rules and regulations and check marks and tools to succeed. In fact, I think that's the reason why nobody really progresses very much in life these days, because they're too busy planning, they're too busy researching, they're too busy comparing ideas, they're too busy looking around. All that time it takes for them to look around and study and make plans and all that is valid time that they could just be getting in reps. That's why some of the most successful people in life are idiots, because what they do better than anybody is motion. They move constantly. They're dumb enough to try anything and fail, and they're going to keep moving forward. And even though they move at a snail's pace, they always get to where they're wanting to go faster because they are always moving. I'm a thinker, so my natural kryptonite is thinking too much. I don't know when it's time to just simply go. So oftentimes when I have a really ambitious goal, I just go crazy and try to counteract the research side of it, because nobody has to tell me to do research. Nobody has to tell me to think hard. Nobody has to tell me to try and contextualize and make things make sense. I'll do that naturally on my own. So I don't even need to set aside time to do that. I will automatically do that by default. So the only thing I really need to put maximum effort in is what I don't want to do, which is go through the pain of potentially doing something that won't make me successful. But it's that mindset and that urgency and that aggressiveness towards life that you have to conquer a lot of things very quickly. I'm up here watching on my B-Day. That shows how much I love the game. Kicks, happy birthday, brother. Everybody give Kicks Griffey a happy birthday in the chat, man. He turns 24 today. He drank from the fountain of youth. He's got the fountain of youth fragrances. Any recommendations to any clean frags similar to Sedley? Yeah, I'm here, Legacy Silver. Why not just get Sedley for 20 bucks? Club de Nuit, Intense Man, EDP, or Parfum? Neither. Don't get Club de Nuit, Intense Man anymore. Don't get L'Aventure anymore. Don't get Off Non-Supremacy, Not Only Intense. Don't get Nitro Black anymore. It's played out. This beats all of them. Pay the extra 10 bucks and get the better fragrance. Sen, have you tried Iberian Leather Memo Paris? Got a clone. It smells like it could sell for 200 bucks. No. Honestly, my only favorite Memo Paris fragrance at all, and I've tried all of them, is African Leather. African Leather's the only one I'm really jocking with. Thanks, Motion. 25-year-old with mad gray hair. Yep. Yeah, he was in the senior varsity basketball as a freshman with them gray hairs. What are the new clones you're trying and planning on buying? Well, that's a tough question because right now I'm on a niche-only binge. So probably for the next 2-3 months, I'm going to be only getting niche fragrances. I've got a big list I'm trying to conquer. And I'm really leaning on niche heavily in the next 2-3 months. But there's a lot of stuff I have my eye on. Kingdom. Lattafa's Kingdom, Vulcan Fue from Fragrance World. I have a list. I have a giant Trello list of clones that I'm interested in getting. I'm just drawing a blank here. But I know those two I was looking to get. Oh, another one I wanted to get is that Arabiat Al Oud or whatever. That tuxedo clone. That one was stupid. I need to get that. But yeah, for right now, the next 2-3 months is going to be all niche. Thanks, Motion. Appreciate you, man. My next clone might be Al Harmain Aqua Dubai. You know what's crazy, man? Aqua Dubai is a great imagination clone, but I still don't get the hype. Like, Aqua Dubai is nice. I mean, I have it. It's a good fragrance, but like to me, I don't know. I don't know. I prefer Sahib Intense. I'm not going to lie to you. Sahib Intense is still the king to me. It's a little bit harder to find, and you get a little bit less ml than 100. I think this is like a 75. But I prefer this over Aqua Dubai. And I'm kind of still shocked that people are still looking for imagination clones because there's so many good ones. And I mean, I think Aqua Dubai probably sits in the top 2, top 3 best imagination clones right now, but I don't know. I guess I'm just a little bit tired of it right now. It's not that intriguing to me at the moment. Yeah, super senior. That's facts. It didn't hit the spot like I thought it would because I want that T, so I'm gonna get Sahib Intense. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you chase imagination if you want a T note. You know, this definitely has a T note, no question. But I think if T is the emphasis of the fragrance that you love the most about it, I think there's just better tea fragrances like La Corday, Montclair's La Corday. You can get that for 70, 80 bucks right now, 120 ml. That's honey lemon tea. Oolong cha, that's grassy lemon tea. You can get Oolong cha for 100 bucks. Um, I mean, there's other tea fragrances that are even cheaper. I mean, 78 Vintage Green from Banana Republic. There's just, I mean, I'm naming a couple, but there's like a ton of way better like tea-based fragrances. I don't think you go after imagination if you want tea specifically. Tea is like a complete secondary, maybe even a tertiary note of imagination. It's mostly citrus aquatic medley. Um, I wouldn't even call it a tea fragrance. Tea is like such a small accent of the fragrance, but I do love Sahib Intense. To me, Sahib Intense in the air feels very close to Aqua Dubai, but on skin, it's a bit richer to me, but they are very close. I give them the same rating. I just prefer this rendition of it. Any thoughts on Guess? You dig any of the seductives? No, they're okay, man. I mean, the Guess seductives is kind of like Curve, like how I felt about Curve back in the early 2000s. Curve and the Curve Remix fragrance were like go-to gym scents in high school that like if you just needed something to smell fresh after you were just funked out by uh, PE class, you would wear those and just feel somewhat cool because you smelled less than body odor. you know, the Guess Seductive line, like, it's just cheap and people know it. Like, they're classy in the cheapest way possible. They're not even, I mean, today, the cheap designer fragrances, 90% of them aren't even worth buying because the clones just beat them outright for the same price. Like the sweet spot clone price today is $20 to $30, and you can pretty much get anything under the sun. You don't have to move into the mid top tier clone prices of $40 to $80. You don't even have to go that far. You can stay in the $20, $30 realm and pretty much beat out every $20 designer fragrance that exists right now. So I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like Guess is like Nautica Voyage. And I tell people all the time, Nautica Voyage is a good fragrance. It's solid. But in 2025, this is just inferior to everything. It's like my question is always, why are we trying to smell like Nautica Voyage in 2025? There is literally thousands of fragrances that stomp that fragrance out for the exact same price. So why are we chasing that DNA? Guess Seductive line is the same thing. 10, 20 years ago, it would have made all the sense in the world to go with the $20, $30 affordable designer fragrances because clones didn't exist. But now, like $20, $30 designer fragrances 10, 20 years ago were the fulfilling what the clone space is fulfilling right now. So, but right now, I'm only getting a designer fragrance if it provides me something that I literally can't find. But the Guess fragrances mimic so many DNAs right now. It's not even funny. Good fragrances, just a waste of money though. Yeah. How is Supremacy Collector's Edition? It's good. I mean, to me, I say this all the time. These are the two best Aventus fragrances out right now. They're superior over every clone of Aventus possible. And in my reviews recently, I gave it a spectrum. You know, there's an Aventus spectrum. On one side, you have Versace Eros Energy. In the middle, you have Aventus Absolute. And on the other side of the spectrum, you have Nishane Hasavat. And each pineapple goes up in masculinity and up in depth. So Eros Energy is the least depth, the most pungent, fruity, playful pineapple. Absolute starts to get a little bit smoky, a little bit more woodsy. And then Hasavat is still smoky and woodsy, but they dial down the pineapple tartness even more and dial down the smoke and then ramp up a heavy emphasis on oak moss. So neither of these fragrances are 1 out of 1 Absolute or Hasavat or Energy. But if Absolute is in the middle, this fragrance sits between Absolute and Eros Energy. It has the pungent pineapple style, playful pineapple style as Energy, but it starts to add the smokes in the woods and birchy cedar from Absolute. But because the pineapple is a little too bright and projective, it's right in between. It took half of Absolute, it took Absolute's base and gave it Eros Energy's top. Off-Non Collector's Edition is a different pineapple entirely. Rather than a tart, vibrant, bright, pungent pineapple, you have a canned dulce pineapple that is more candied and subdued, slightly less sweet, but still very sweet, but it's more of a candied pineapple. It does have the smoky, woody base from Absolute, but it's not as smoky. It's just woody. And then a huge emphasis on oak moss. So it sits between Aventus Absolute and Nishane Hasavat because Hasavat has the same style of subdued, richer, candied pineapple and then a heavy emphasis on oak moss. But this isn't quite Hasavat because it lacks a lot of the rich earthy depth that Hasavat provides. And it's not quite Absolute because it's not as smoky. But nonetheless, these sit as the top tier Aventus clones or Hasavat clones or Eros Energy clones on the market above all of the CDN line, all of the Nitro Black, the L'Aventure, the Off-Non Supremacy Not Only Intense, the Mont Blancs, everything. Now, granted, both of these fragrances are $40, and the other bottom tier clones are all $20 to $30. But to me, this DNA is so timeless, it's worth it to upgrade and spend the extra $10, even if you have an existing fragrance, because you will always wear this DNA. These are some of the highest compliment getters, 12 plus hour performance. You know, you're going to need that in your collection. So. And I made thorough videos on these fragrances, and I'm actually going to do a top 10 power ranking of Aventus clones that's coming out pretty soon. But right now I have a review of Pre-Show and Collector's Edition coming out probably next week. They're already done. How long would a bottle of Pre-Show last for somebody who doesn't use fragrances all the time? Over a year. I mean, probably if you have different fragrances and you don't use your juice a lot, even though Pre-Show only has 55 ml, I think it would easily last you 2-3 years minimum. If you're a heavy sprayer and you're really going to wear it every day or several times a week, it'll probably last you like a year and a half, you know, but who the heck cares? It's $40. Doesn't really matter. I wouldn't prioritize getting 100 ml of juice over 55 in this case. I would prioritize which one smells closest to Aventus or Hasavat, and that way, because you're going to smell more expensive. So, and Pre-Show is an extrait, so less sprays for more performance. For every one spray of Pre-Show, you get about 2 to 2.5 hours of performance per one spray. You know, with the CDN, CDN, L'Aventure, and Not Only Intense lineup from Off-Non Supremacy and Nitro Black, you're getting about 1 hour per spray of performance, which is still amazing. However, with the 55 ml extrait, it's closer to like what a 75 ml would be. Got my nose on Altair at Nordstrom's. Got it, smelled good, but ordered Liquid Brune, hope it smells good. Liquid Brune is phenomenal. You will not need the real Altair with Liquid Brune. Liquid Brune is notoriously probably the top 10 clone most purchased right now in the market, and for good reason. Bulgari Man in Black to me smells like I open a big box of Lipton tea. That's a reach, man. That's a reach. That's a big reach, Omar. Hey, what do you think of Lattafa Cadal Frisson for a spring scent? Trash. Don't ever buy a Cadal Frisson. Ever. People who say Cadal Frisson is good don't buy fragrances more than $25, and their fragrance collection is all clones, and they have less than 20 fragrances in their collection. And they also haven't smelled the other Aventus DNAs. Cadal Frisson is cheap. It smells good if you have less than 20 fragrances and you only collect clones and you've never had an Aventus clone. But there's so many better. Almost every pineapple fragrance I've named in my previous rant like 5 minutes ago completely takes a crap on Cadal Frisson. Scent Bubble, Bad Boy Elixir, and Salvatore Ferragamo Intense has been ordered for me as a B-Day gift. Can't wait for it to arrive. Excellent. Excellent, brother. Excited for you to get those. Thoughts on Jimmy Choo Man? Well, I have Man Intense. But the better smelling fragrance is just Jimmy Choo Man Original. That's the better smelling fragrance. This smells very close to it, but it's ramped up a little bit more on the pepper and melon note. But the only reason I bought the Intense is because it's close enough to the original where I could get away with less sprays. So for me, I could spray this 2 times and go 10 hours of performance. I could literally just go front, back, and this thing has Sauvage Elixir times 2 level power and performance. So for me, I chose the Intense to save more money on juice. But the better smelling fragrance is just the original Jimmy Choo Man. If you want something a little bit more bright. If you want something more dark and peppery and seductive, it's this fragrance, but I think this fragrance starts at like 30 and up. If you're a younger guy, 30 and down, just get Jimmy Choo Man Original. You'll still get 6 to 8 hours of performance on about 5 to 6 sprays. But it's an incredible designer fragrance. One of the best designer fragrances out there in the Sauvage Elixir style of DNA, where it's like slightly sweet, but peppery, sexy, like very nice. Yo, SB, Club Dinoe Milestone be a good summer frag for me. Yes, it would. For your age, Jigga, yeah. If I remember, you're 20 years old or less. You might be a teenager. But yeah, Milestone's a great fragrance for summer for your age group. Absolutely. Milestone smells better than Sean John Unforgivable. Ow. Dang, my chest is sore. L'Aventure is real musky. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, guys. Nitro Black, L'Aventure, Off-Not Supremacy Not Only Intense, Mont Blanc, Club de Nuit, Intense Man, EDT, EDP Parfum, Limited Edition Parfum, Extrait de Parfum, even the new one that just came out. They're all slightly different from each other. Maybe one's a little more smoky, maybe one's a little more lemony, one's a little more pineapple-y, one's a little more woodsy, one's a little more musky. They're all so close, though. Like, that's why I put them all under per show in Collector's Edition. Because it's like, on a bar graph, it's like this one's here, this one's there, this one's there, this one's there, this one. Like, they're all so close. It's like, screw all of that. Just pay the $10 and get per show or Collector's Edition or both, and you kill all those fragrances. Why pick L'Aventure over Not Only Intense or Not Only Intense or Nitro Black over the rest or CDN Limited Edition Parfum when those are vastly inferior to pre-show and collector's edition. It just doesn't make sense. Before those two fragrances came out, you did have to sit there and analyze what parts of the Aventus DNA you liked more to pick the fragrance with the better emphasis. But since pre-show and collector's edition absolutely annihilate all of those, and they're way closer to the Aventus and Hasselblad DNA, we don't have to have that debate anymore. They're all trash. They all go into the trash. I have not tried Abstracto, Jigga. I like how Voyage isn't so offensive to the nose. It's like a mild scent. Yeah, but it's 2025. Why wear Nautica Voyage? That same money will get you just about any fragrance on my shelf other than my niche. Some light Voyage for the gym is nice. Okay. How is it going, SB and everyone in here? What's up, Henry? Good to see you, brother. I bought a Tom Ford Ombre Leather Clone, Risasi La Yukawam. All right. Okay. I don't know why today people are still buying La Yukawam, man. That fragrance is like 15 years old. You know? I mean, off non-rare carbon kills it. La Yukawam is still good. I mean, here's the thing. Club de Nuit Intense Man EDT and La Yukawam were some of the first very early stage clone fragrances that actually they made the fragrance world start taking clones seriously. So I can't take a crap on La Yukawam, but it's literally like a 15-year-old clone. And then this fragrance came along and everyone was just like, oh, I want to smell newer. I don't want to smell older. And then they went with this. But Yukawam's cool. Yukawam's cool. I don't really get the craze today with people chasing leather-centric accorded DNAs if they don't want to use it to layer. You know, like for me, I'm not really interested in wearing La Yukawam or Off Non-Rare Carbon by themselves because neither of them are spot-on ombre leather clones. They sit between Tuscan leather and ombre leather, and that's not good enough to me. So if I'm wearing Off Non-Rare Carbon or La Yukawam, I'm going to take a fragrance like YSL La Nuit de l'Homme or L'Homme and do a 2-to-1 ratio with that fragrance. Because if you put 2 sprays of this next to 1 spray of Off Non-Rare Carbon or La Yukawam, 2-to-1, so I would ramp that up and go 4 sprays on 2 sprays of Yukawam or Off Non-Rare Carbon. It's a dead ringer 1-to-1 clone of ombre leather. So to me, it's just like, if you're not using it as a layering fragrance, you're just buying it hoping you're gonna love it. You're gonna wear it a couple times in the cold weather, and then you're not really gonna pay much attention to it. You're gonna move on because the DNA is too boring. Unless you live in a super cold weather dominant place. I mean, if you live in warm weather, you really shouldn't be wearing any leather, except for something like bright leather from Ferragamo. I heard it's about 95% of the DNA. Not really. No, that's a lie. La Yukawam is maybe like 85%. It's very close in the opening, but on the dry down is where you're like, oh, it's more like 80%. Oh, what up, Esteban? Esteban, what's good, bro? What's good, man? Drake said he got a whole song called Tuscan Leather. I mean, again, I tell people this all the time. If you're even just trying to crack the nut on leather and you're deciding between Tuscan leather and ombre leather, go ombre leather every single time. Tuscan leather is a beautiful fragrance, but it is for a very specific individual on a very specific occasion, and I always bring this up. If you don't own anything that's actual Italian leather from Italy, don't buy Tuscan leather because you will not look the part. You will not look the part. If you don't own a Jag, don't get the fragrance. If you don't own a briefcase and a 2-tone suit, don't buy the fragrance. If you don't vacation out of the country frequently, do not buy the fragrance. If you don't fly private, don't buy the fragrance. Tuscan leather is way more of a narrow fragrance for a specific individual living a specific type of lifestyle. That's how it comes off. It's an aura fragrance. Ombre leather is a little bit more commercial in the sense that you don't necessarily have to look like a millionaire to wear it, because it gives you, it's kind of an entry level luxurious leather that's a little more commercial due to the raspberry and the fruit and the florals that kind of dress it up, but it's still very upscale. Like, to me, with ombre leather, like actual ombre leather, to me, in my nose, I still think you got to be at least 30 and up to rock that fragrance. Ambitious 25 and up, like if you're in your mid late 20s and you're about your paper and you got your business right, maybe you got a suit, maybe you got slacks and a collared tee and you're trying to get your life together, maybe you drive the Kia K5, but you know, you still got your ducats in order. Okay, you could throw some ombre leather on in the right space, but ombre leather and Tuscan leather, I find that too many kids and college kids are discussing this DNA, and it's like, bro, you couldn't go anywhere wearing that fragrance because everybody's going to know you live with your mom. Everybody's going to know your parents are paying the tuition. Like, you don't look the part. So I think some fragrances, it doesn't matter who you are and where you're from. It will assimilate to you with your aura, and it will do what you need it to do. But Tuscan leather for sure, and ombre leather somewhat, are fragrances that carry an aura with it where even if you don't make a lot of money, you need to look well groomed, well kept, and you need to be dressed nicely, or the juxtaposition of the luxuriousness of that fragrance and the lack of attention of detail of your apparel and your aura will ruin that combination and make you look fraudulent. That's just my opinion. Can you tell me a very high quality frag under $100 that doesn't smell synthetic and projects well at the same time for a long time? So you're looking for projection and phase on. That's not a good enough question, brother, because you're just asking me for any frag that has monster performance that's under $100. That's like thousands of fragrances. Give me something more specific. Give me an occasion or a place you're trying to wear the fragrance, and then I'll give you a fragrance under $100 that isn't synthetic, projects well, and will fit that occasion. Supremacy Collector's Edition is a great fragrance. Have you tried Lattafa, his Confessions? I have not. Any designer names to avoid? That's a great question. What a phenomenal question. Are there any designers I would avoid? I avoid Mont Blanc like the plague. The only Mont Blancs I subscribe to, and I know I'm a minority in this conversation, but Mont Blanc more times than not deals with so many cheap level synthetics that they oftentimes ruin very nice versatile DNAs with some sort of a synthetic, harsh or brash or foreign note in the fragrance that ruins it. So for me, I love Mont Blanc Presence. I love Mont Blanc Starwalker. And if you want to be politically correct, you can like Mont Blanc Legend Spirit and Mont Blanc Legend Blue. There's a couple other ones people like, Explorer and stuff like that. But for me, I really only like 2 Mont Blanc fragrances. And it happens to be the fragrances that don't smell synthetic at all. But most fragrances have, and again, most fragrances carry synthetics, but there's something to the synthetics used in most Mont Blanc fragrances that really ruin good DNAs. Like, as much as I love Mont Blanc Legend Spirit and stuff like that, even Spirit has a bit of plasticky tackiness to it that, like, once you get to a certain age or a certain vibe, they know you went to a retail store and spent less than 80 bucks on that fragrance, and it comes across that way. Now, it might be more signature, everyday, dumb reach for somebody who's 25 and down, but each year you age, that fragrance becomes a little more cheap and, like, you know, they know you only have 5 or less fragrances when you rock stuff like that. So for me, I avoid Mont Blanc like the plague. What else in the designer category? Jaguar's terrible. There aren't a lot that I like intentionally try to avoid, but yeah. Have you ever smelled Artemis Emerald by Luke Milano? I have not. What's it smell like? YSL La Nuit de l'Homme is nice and a mild scent too. Yeah, I always tell people don't look for performance if you're looking at La Nuit de l'Homme or L'Homme. Those fragrances are 1 to 2 feet of projection, intimate, your girl falling asleep inside your jacket, Netflix and chill type of fragrances. They're not projection, they're not performance monsters, they're intimate, seductive. Your girl has to be touching your skin to smell you. And it's a good thing because you want her to come up in your region and find excuses and reasons to get in your jacket, which is what you want in the first place. King of seduction, L'Homme and La Nuit de l'Homme, without question. Tuxedo's beautiful, Y is beautiful, Myself is trash, but a lot of younger people like it. But none of those fragrances match the level of seduction as L'Homme and La Nuit de l'Homme. Now, granted, Tuxedo and Baby Cat are in a class of their own. I feel like those are more pop-out fragrances, your ballroom, your luxurious outings. But in terms of like one-on-one, you and your girl, nothing quite beats La Nuit de l'Homme and Original L'Homme, to me personally. That's just in terms of the YSL lineup. I love the smell of Prada Black, but it doesn't have the best projection or longevity. Do you have any other similar ones? Yes, Bulgari Man in Black. You could probably find this fragrance between $70 and $90 for 100 ml. Bulgari Man in Black is Prada Luna Rossa Black, but more performance and more projection and longevity, without question. When you're dealing with a dark, slightly sweet, seductive, mysterious, sweet type of fragrance, like with the Prada Luna Rossa Black DNA, you're never really going to get above like 6 strong hours of performance. You know, like even when I'm wearing Man in Black out in the public, I mean, I'm doing like 15 sprays. I'm not gonna lie to you. But this definitely has double the performance of Prada Black, without question. Now, the other fragrance, if that still isn't enough performance for you, the next fragrance that you highly have to consider is Zara Man. Now, this is not Prada Black, but I always consider these these two and Prada Black as kind of your, it's kind of a 4-tier system in terms of lineup. You have Prada Black, then you have Man in Black from Bulgari, then you have Tom Ford's Black Orchid, and then you have Initio's Oud for Greatness. When we talk about dark, mystery, seduction, patchouli, cakey density, those 4 are kind of like in a hierarchy from weakest to greatest. But a lot of people are intimidated by the orchid note from Tom Ford. And what was the other one outside of Black Orchid? Initio Oud for Greatness. No one really argues with Oud for Greatness. People universally think it's a great scent. But the difference between these two is like, this is essentially Black Orchid without the orchid note. It has the patchouli, it has the cacao, it has the vetiver. It's very nice. What was I going to say about that? Yeah, if all you care about is performance, then you have to move to this DNA. And to me, this is the best one-of-one clone of Tom Ford Black Orchid. I actually wear this over Tom Ford Black Orchid EDP. I think this is better than that because it dials back a little bit on the orchid and ramps up a little bit more freshness and still has 10 to 12 hours of performance. And this fragrance is only like 30, 35 bucks. This beats out all of the Black Orchid clones without question, and has monstrous performance. So if performance is what you care about, go for Zara Man. Just know that it's basically Prada Black with a very vibrant, dark purple floral orchid note. But if you don't like florals and you want to stay away from them, then the next best choice is Bulgari Man in Black, because Bulgari Man in Black is essentially Prada Luna Rossa Black with extra performance and projection. Or I tell people that it's just like Tom Ford Black Orchid without the orchid note. So this has better performance and has a little more flair and signature. This is a little bit more tucked back and seductive, but doesn't have a flare out orchid note. So it's a little bit more one-to-one, exactly like an upgrade from Prada Luna Rossa Black. So you know, and this is more expensive. So that also factors in, you know, like the price situation. Ah, man. We're going to roll out soon. Let's see what we got here. I recently got La Yucawam, liked the notes, but it wasn't my style. Gave it to my dad. Yeah, I mean, the fragrance is 15 years old, Marcus. That makes total sense. Wearing ombre leather, wearing all fabric, do feel off IMO. Okay. Should I get Le Beau, Le Parfum, or Paradise Garden for the summer? Paradise Garden, without question. Jigga, you don't even buy that many fragrances, bro. I need to give you a cap limit. Jigga, because every week you ask about 25 questions about fragrance, and I know that you'll take a whole month or 2 or 3 to even buy one fragrance. So you need to just lock in and buy a fragrance, bro, and then ask a question after. Because I know out of all these recommendations, you literally, it's going to take you like 2-3 years to even acquire the fragrances that are being recommended. You need to just lock in and work on that next fragrance you're going to get, bro. Appreciate you, Alex B. I hate Dior Sauvage with a passion. Well, 80% of the fragrance world loves it. And it's one of the most highest selling fragrances of all time. I don't wear it. I don't enjoy it. But the reality is that women love Dior Sauvage Elixir. Eros EDT is not my tea. I don't love it. But women love it. It is one of the highest complimented fragrances of all time for men. It's beaten out every designer in every battle on the streets. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I wear pink because women like pink type of conversations. Now, granted, I've been with my wife for 15 years. I'm not a bachelor anymore. I don't need to go out and pick up women. I don't care if women see me or not. I prefer that they don't see me. I'm taken. I don't need distractions. I'm living my life. However, for my wife, eats this up. Eats Sauvage Elixir up. You know, sometimes I wear fragrances for the people in my life to enjoy over what I enjoy. I find enjoyment from other people's enjoyment. So that's why they have a slot in my repertoire. Oh, appreciate you, Alex B. Thank you so much for the compliments, brother. Hey, I'm here for the community, man. I don't need the money from this channel. I don't need the clout. I really don't care. I'm in it for the content. I'm trying to bring something to this fragrance space that isn't done, guys. I'm telling you. Listen, man. You want to be here in the next 3-4 months of this channel because the bombs I'm dropping on this channel are going to be so unmatched in the fragrance community. I've really been sitting back and plotting to have the greatest fragrance channel in FragCom. And I'm not lying, guys. Like right now, I post almost as much as Jen Sense, which is the highest posting channel, I believe, in FragCom currently. He posts about 2 to 3 videos a day with, you know, something like 2 to 4 shorts. I'm posting 1 video a day with 2 shorts a day and going live 3 to 4 days a week. So I'm just a hair under his frequency. So I'm already matching his frequency of release. But in terms of interesting content and giveaways and things I'm going to drop on the community for the community specifically, I think I'm going to do a lot of things. I mean, I know I'm going to present a lot of content styles and free things that the public will have access to that no one's ever seen in FragCom. And I'm just trying to do it safely in a branded way where no one can steal what I have. And so I'm going to have to look about copyright and patents and things like that for the things that I have coming. And so that's why it's taking me a while to drop it. But I promise you guys, if you're interested in fragrance at all, as an educational experience, entertainment experience, and recommendations and all that stuff that you look up fragrance videos for, this next 2 to 4 month run on this channel is going to be nuclear. I'm so excited to drop it, man. Imagine wearing a leather frag in 85-degree leather. That's why I stay with freshies. Yeah, man, you got to wear fragrances that match your region, man. I just bought a bunch of fragrances. Been trying one out every day. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Best way I could describe Artemis Emerald is like a tropical sweet frag. Beautiful. I'm scrolling down the chat, guys. Just give me a second. Hey, I'm wondering, is that Rayhan Ocean Rush close to Chanel Allure on Sport Extreme? I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't matter because, and again, a lot of people, like I see a 50-50 right now in the community. Like half the community is taking a crap on Yaman Lale and the other half is praising it because every fragrance in Yaman Lale is absolute hit or absolute miss. So it's like a lot of people are blind buying like discovery sets from Yaman Lale, and it's like if they get the crappy fragrances, they never rock with them ever again. People aren't doing enough research. I've already reviewed 10 fragrances from Yaman Lale, and I can comfortably say that you need to try the smallest amount of ml for every fragrance. The bangers are banging and the trash is trashing. So like, but one thing I'll say is when it comes to the Chanel Allure Homme Sport, inspiration from Yaman Lale, it's second to none. I think for $30-$40 you can get like a 50 ml or something, and I think for around the $60 to $80 price point you can get a 100 ml bottle. Their Chanel Homme Sport inspiration is dang near 95 if not 100% accurate to Chanel Allure Homme Sport with all of the performance, and I haven't seen a clone or inspiration that close to it yet. So look at the Yaman Lale Chanel. If you go to Yaman Lale's website and type Chanel, it'll point you to their replica fragrance of it. And it's very nice, very mature, no synthetics. It will not even smell like a clone. I almost thought it was Chanel Allure Homme Sport before I even saw the name of the fragrance. Thoughts on Invictus Platinum and Victory? Got my nose on those today at Sephora. If you're new to fragrance, you will love those DNAs, but there are so many other DNAs that are half the price that beat that out. So I think if you're new to fragrance, go to a Sephora and smell everything. Like literally put your nose to Marc Jacobs, YSL, Dior, Gucci, you know, everything in that store. And just take your cell phone out and start writing down everything that you love. And once you have a list of everything that you love, you can then start going to Google and typing in Invictus Platinum alternatives, Invictus Aqua alternatives, Gucci Guilty Elixir alternatives. There aren't any to Gucci Guilty Elixir. You should just buy it. But you guys get what I'm saying. And then you could see if there's ways, because here's the thing. You're going to spend 80 to 120 on most of those designer fragrances, right? For like 100 ml. And most of them don't carry a 50 ml. But in the clone world, inspiration world, and at the designer cheapy discounter online store side of things, the price of one fragrance could be 300 to 400 ml bottles of an inspiration or a discounted designer fragrance. So if you're new to your fragrance journey, you should go quantity over quality, because even in the quantity, you're still getting the quality. So it's like, okay, what am I going to get? Dolce & Gabbana K EDP because it smells good? I'm going to pay the $120 for it. That's 4 fragrances. I could get 4 bottles for the price of Dolce & Gabbana K. Is K really good to beat out having 4 bottles if I'm new in my fragrance journey? Hell no. So that's something to consider. Yo, Sent, good morning. It's midnight where I'm at. Good morning, brother. Good to see you, Based. Vetiver Sensual or Peugeot for Pops? Oh, man. Oh, my gosh. If your Pops is under the age of 45, get him Peugeot. If your Pops is older than 45, get him Vetiver Sensual. Invictus is one of the most complimented scents ever. I've been told it smells like me multiple times and never looked back since 2015. Invictus, Aqua, and Platinum are highly complimented scents if you're below the age of 30. And I would argue even below the age of 25. The older you get, the cheaper those fragrances feel in comparison to a lot of stuff in the same price point, but they're still great fragrances. If you're an Invictus Platinum kind of guy, I would highly encourage you to put your nose to something like Gucci Guilty Elixir. Night and day. I'm playing sports right now, but once summer comes, I'm getting a job and going to buy a bunch. Jigga, don't say that, bro. You don't need to, here's the thing, man. You don't need to buy a bunch of fragrances, man. At your age, like having a couple amazing fragrances is going to be fine. But I think like if you have a couple of fragrances in your mind that you're trying to get, which I know you are, because I see you lurking in a lot of the fragrance channels asking questions, which is amazing. Like, bro, you've got some great fragrances you got your eye on, man. Just go pull the trigger on one, man. You might find that that one fragrance carries you for 4 to 6 months. You don't even have to buy another fragrance for a while. Women love that Blue de Chanel too. They absolutely do. I also got Infinity Elixir, the side effect clone, and I gotta say the $80 over the $350 is the best decision I made. Marcus, if you spent $80 on Infinity Elixir, I'm mad at you. Because that fragrance goes right now for like $20, $25 on Sloma Shop right now. Oh, I for sure overpaid. Okay. Weird question, but what's the best smelling car you've ever been in? Probably a Jaguar, like a 90s Jag, or best car smell that I've been in. Probably like an old Porsche 911, or I gotta think about that. I don't know, bro. Like an old Porsche, a 96 or a 95 Corvette Stingray, a Jag. What other cars do I distinctly remember the smell in? Yeah, bro. Like, honestly, for me, I have a lot of really good memories in like old 90s and 2000s BMWs, but they don't really smell like, it's nothing to talk, brag home about. But like, I distinctively remember sitting in some old Jaguars that were like, woo. First time I ever sat in like an old Porsche, some of the older Porsche models. I remember those smells. Yeah, that is a weird question. Yeah, Kicks, you know I'm not lying, bro. I don't even like talking about it. Only frag I overpaid for was Dylan Blue. You didn't overpay for Dylan Blue. It's just Dylan Blue is, again, it's an amazing scent, but in today's world, it's very mid. But you didn't overpay. You know, that fragrance will always be a good fragrance for you to wear. Is Vibrant Vetiver Delight a mild scent? I was looking to pick some up. I like the green juice too. What was your question? Is Vibrant Delight a mild scent? I don't know exactly what you're getting at, but it is a mild scent, but it's a monster performer. So you're gonna get like 8 to 10 hours of performance minimum. You're gonna get about an hour of performance per spray. 8 sprays, 8 hours. But it is a mild scent because it smells like expensive Sprite. Like imagine if I poured the Sprite into a glass, put a slice of lemon, a slice of lime, put the fancy straw in it, and charge you $100. That's what Vibrant Vetiver Delight smells like. Expensive Sprite with monster performance in the most seductive way possible, but it's one of the most playful vetiver scents of all time. I call it a very cool fragrance to have. It's not date night romantic. It's not super upscale. It's just a very interesting, fun, playful, casual fragrance that you can, oh, and another thing that's hard to beat it is this is one of the most premier atomizers in the world. Low pressure Addy, second to none. Okay, and I also had a side-to-side comparison, definitely buying it online when it runs out. The only problem with my Sephora is built in with a Kohl's. You got to look on Google, bro. You got to be willing to drive based. You know, when I look around my town in Arizona, I type Sephora, I type TJ Maxx, all those places. But if you're looking for designers, you got to go to Sephora, Kohl's, or Ulta Beauty. Look them up on your phone. If you got to drive 20 minutes, go drive 20 minutes. That's exactly what I did today. I'm watching you. I know there's a way to get in the vibe I'm looking for. Absolutely. Didn't realize the price difference till Omar said something. What do you think about Dior Fahrenheit? I prefer the Parfum over the EDT or EDP. You called it mid-20s, work as a personal trainer in sports, love broadcasting, so very energetic environment, and I live by the coast. See? I know a thing or two, Alex. I'm not the Lord of Fragrance, but I know some stuff. Absolutely. Yeah, man. Hey, if you're new to the channel, Alex B, keep watching, man. I've dropped consistently a video every single day since I've came out, and I've only really been in the fragrance space as a content creator, at least for like 8 or 9 months. We got a lot of traction, a big community over here, and I drop videos every single day. So I'm putting people on to inspiration fragrances, designer fragrances, clone fragrances, and niche fragrances. And you're always going to learn about new fragrances. And I go pretty in depth in a real concise way. So you'll get a lot of value being around here, man. Let's see. Don't worry, Marcus. Made my Maison Alhambra. Was going to check. Have you smelled Cod Lodge Island? I haven't smelled Cod Lodge Island, but all of my sources say it's a phenomenal top 10 fragrance right now in the clone space. What's the closest scent to LV Imagination? Sahib Intense and what's the other Imagination one? Somebody said it earlier. For me, it's Sahib Intense is the best LV. It's a little hard to find. Ard, can you guys see this? Come on. Focus. Ard Al Zafran. Sahib Intense. To me, it's the best Imagination. The next one that everyone's talking about is Al Haramain's Aqua Dubai, but you're going to pay a little more money for that. And to me, they're the same, just a little bit different nuance. I've been trying to get my hands on Fahrenheit Le Parfum, but I can't find it absolutely anywhere. Never had the chance to smell it before. Check Joma Shop, check fragrancebuy.ca, check Max Aroma. It will be at one of those 3 places. Thoughts on LV Pacific Chill? It's really nice. What's your thoughts on Liquid Brune as an Altair clone? It's about 9 to 9.5 out of 10 close to Altair with monster performance, and it's probably one of the top 10 most purchased clones of 2024. Yeah, I mean, I don't like Altair. In fact, I'm one of the very few people in FragCom that my favorite Parfums de Marly fragrances are not what everybody likes. In FragCom right now, everybody loves Leighton. Everybody loves Pegasus. Everybody loves Percival, Altair, all that stuff. They're all good fragrances, but they're not my tea. Again, my top 5 fragrances in Parfums de Marly. Now, I'm a 35-year-old man, but I'm not your typical, or sorry, 36. Oh my gosh. But I don't think I'm your typical 36-year-old man because I'm like a mentor to kids all around the valley. You know, I'm married to a beautiful wife. I'm in the hip hop community because I'm an audio engineer. So I mix music for people all over the world. So I'm in a lot of different environments. I travel. You know, I play sports. Like I just do a lot of stuff that puts me in a lot of different cultures and communities of all age groups. So the things I'm looking for in a fragrance aren't typical. But for me, the best fragrances in PDM for me is like Carlisle, Wajan, Galloway, Sedley, Leighton Exclusive. And I don't even really purchase full bottles of PDM because almost all of those fragrances I named have really cheap alternatives that completely seal the deal. So like instead of Latent Exclusive, I'm gonna just wear Lalique White and Black, which is a designer fragrance to me that's better than Latent, and this is only $25. Instead of Sedley, I'm gonna wear Mahir Legacy Silver, which is pretty much one-to-one with Sedley, and that's $20. Instead of Galloway, now granted, I'm buying Galloway because I love it that much, but you don't need to spend Galloway money. You can just get Lalique White for 20 bucks and it'll get you about 85% of the way there, and it's a wonderful fragrance. Instead of Wajan, you can get Fragrance World's Legion. Instead of Carlisle, you can get Cassius or Barouge Perlador for 30-ish bucks. So I can pretty much beat out or get close enough to almost every PDM fragrance that I love. And I've smelled the entire line of Parfums de Marly and worn all of the Parfums de Marly lineup. So those are my favorites. A lot of people love those fragrances that I named, but not more than the typical like Pegasus, Leighton, you know, Percival, Altair, those type of fragrances. Oh, thanks, Alex. Appreciate you. I didn't know you've been watching. I haven't tried Indigenous Ginger. Who's some of your favorite content creators? You know, I'm really weird in the fragrance space because the people I follow are what I would call no-namers, you know, people who are under 10,000 subs-ish, you know. Shout outs to Gator, shout outs to Kix Griffey, shout outs to Suits and Scents, shout outs to Fatboy Finesse, shout outs to BT Scents, shout outs to Trey Fragrance, shout outs to Chris Siage, shout outs to Siage Saint, shout outs to Brian Fragrance. And then like the big name guys, I love the perfume guy, Sebastian. I love Equality Fragrance. I love Bowtie Fragrance Guy. Sometimes I even like Aaron Hughes. And yeah, you know, I keep my circle small. Sedley is the most versatile PDM outside of Galloway. But I think Galloway beats Sedley. But they're both very neck and neck. You know, Sedley's more of a metallic, fresh, versatile, everyday, upscale, casual scent. Galloway is more of your clean linen, white floral, slightly sweet. It's a magical fragrance. You know, it's magical. Yeah, I've been an audio engineer for 15 years. So I engineer probably 300 records a year, ranging all over the hip hop space in the United States. That's my second job. Sedley is definitely for lime lovers. It is. But I like it because most citrus fragrances lean on grapefruit or lemon or bergamot or orange. And so having a lime variation, I just like lime as a note more. I'm going to start working on my fragrances pretty soon here. Excellent. I got Zara Golden Fog 2025 release. Projection is amazing. Is Zara trying to clone fragrances? Yes, they are. In fact, one of my favorite Zara fragrances, Zara Man, is cloning Tom Ford's Black Orchid EDP to perfection. Oh, I finally made it to the bottom of the list. Hell yeah. I want to get Vetiver Sensual for my dad, but I'm not sure if he likes vetiver. Vetiver Sensual is one of the most commercial, universal vetivers out there. So you don't have to be a vetiver lover to love Vetiver Sensual because it's mostly a citrus green fragrance. However, if you want to get him the other fragrance you had mentioned, you can get him that too. He'll love it. What's up with Kayali or Machino? They're unisex but smell very feminine. You know, people love Machino Toy Boy. I'm not hating on that. You know, they're not my tea, but a lot of people love them. Just get your pops per show. Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, if your pops is under 45, I think he'll appreciate per show more. If he's over 45, I think he'll appreciate Vetiver Sensual more. But I mean, honestly, Vetiver Sensual is like 70. Per show is like 40. So for like 115, 120 bucks, get them both. He's going to love you. And then if it's too much money for you, just say, Dad, I'm skipping your next birthday because I got you 2 fragrances. You guys will have a good laugh and he'll love you for it. Quick update from the last time I've seen you live. My Valentino Uomo Intense came in and it's definitely the best blind buy I've ever hit. Valencia Uomo Intense smelled close, but it felt like separated notes. Of course it did. Of course it did, man. I mean, I bought Valencia Uomo Intense for $13. How could it possibly match the level of depth and complexity of Valentino Uomo Intense and you're paying like $70 less, maybe even $90 less? But if you're on a budget, paying 13 bucks for this fragrance, you will still smell phenomenal. But if you have the money and you can afford Valentino Uomo Intense, you should always go with it because it is the most versatile, fresh aquatic iris scent available in the market. YSL EDP is a freshie, beautiful, and not too loud. True. So we are getting a private blend store close by, basically all Middle Eastern frags. What's the best one for the office? Middle Eastern office? If you have the chance to get your money on Latafa Sacrat, that's Acqua di Gio Profumo. So vetiver, amber, incense, patchouli, aquamarine notes. Most versatile office / upscale casual fragrance for sure. Middle Eastern. I would start there, to be honest, because that's an excellent killer frag. This is another really good one, Date Night Killer, this new Teriyaki Intense. This is from Latafa, but it was made by a niche perfumer, Quentin Biche. You know, so Teriyaki Intense is another Middle Eastern date night frag that's absolutely stellar. If you can get your hands on African leather, it's not a leather fragrance. Date Night Killer, you know, from Latafa, or actually from Maison Alhambra. Start with those. What smells like Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce? Just about any fragrance you could find. I mean, you could start with something like Ed Hardy's Skull and Roses. That's pretty close. I mean, if you just go on YouTube and type Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce alternatives, there's literally like 20 of them, ranging from designer to clone, that are all valid. What did you wear when you were 14? When I was 14, I wore Acqua di Gio Armani Eau de Toilette. I wore Gucci Guilty. I wore Marc Jacobs by Marc Jacobs. I wore Versace Dreamer. I wore Lacoste Red. I wore Nautica Voyage. Yeah, wore all those. Don't get me wrong, Valencia is great. Just after smelling the real, it was a no-brainer. Yeah, if money is no object to you, then you should really not consider getting clones unless the clone is close to 1-to-1 or it beats the other fragrance out. But again, a lot of times with clones, what it comes down to is the price that you would pay for Valentino Uomo Intense could get you 3, if not 4 bottles of a clone fragrance. And in the case of Valencia, Valencia is so cheap that now it opens up an extra $70 to $100 to get other fragrances. So quality, quantity, whatever, you know, it's very circumstantial. Has the YSL EDP got good projections and sillage? Which YSL? Which one, man? There's like 7 YSL fragrances. I was thinking vintage radio from Latafa. You have to really be a plum lover to love that fragrance. Plum and Palo Santo woods, you know? It's a very accurate clone of Paragon, but plum is not the easiest note to rock. So I think you should be very cautious with that fragrance because you got to be able to wear it. Some men say that that's too feminine leaning because the plum note is so pungent. But if you loved Paragon, you will love vintage radio. A lot of people love how that smells in the air, but then when it comes to wearing it, they find themselves not wearing it as much as they thought they would. Also, the last time we talked about YSL Loam, went on a date and it performed as usual. Loam is awesome, man. Loam has never done me wrong. You mess with Initio's Paragon. I do. It's not really a fragrance I wear a lot. When I'm thinking of plum, there's a new fragrance I'm messing with right now, which is Bond No. 9's Andy Warhol. So I'm really digging that fragrance, and there's a great inspiration house that makes an Andy Warhol clone that's 1-to-1. It's called like Andy's Revenge or something like that. I'll be doing a video on that soon. Mont Blanc Legend, you know, Initio fragrances aren't really my tea. The only ones I really liked was Atomic Rose, Oud for Greatness, and Musk Therapy. Is Bad Boy Cobalt any similar to Vintage Radio? Absolutely not. You won't really pick up much plum in Bad Boy Cobalt. Bad Boy Cobalt is more like Club de Nuit Iconic and Blue de Chanel kind of wrapped in one. Also, have you smelled Gucci Guilty Love Edition yet? I have not. If you look up a friend of mine that subscribes to me, Chris Siage, he reviewed that fragrance about 2 weeks ago. So he has a great review on that fragrance. Ahmed Al-Maghribi Cough is a great Fierce Abercrombie and Fitch. Yeah, trust Joel. That one too I was looking for that watermelon note, Joel, but people say it's not that noticeable. The Royal Blanc bottle is a solid, yeah. I don't know, bro. That Musk Therapy clone is 1-to-1, you know. I have both. I have Musk Therapy and I have Royal Blanc, and it's 1-to-1, man. And you get, you know, 10 hours of performance on it. So, you know, I don't care how the bottle looks, to be quite honest. You know, I have over 200 fragrances. I don't care how the bottle looks. I care how it smells. I don't go around and wear a gold chain on my neck with the bottle hanging from it. I don't care, you know. I have a fragrance that looks like a giant dong. Look at this. You know, I'm not walking around wearing this like this. Like, I don't care how the bottle looks. I got a sample of Eros Energy. I can't tell if I like it or not yet. It's very lemony. Yep, it is. Calvin Klein Man straight up smells like ceviche to me. I can see that. My worst purchase was 1 million Elixir. Doesn't work well with my skin. Also, Dior Fahrenheit was bad too. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Those are challenging fragrances. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, guys, I'm going to head out in like a minute or two. I'm going to give you guys 60 seconds to type all your last minute questions while I get some water. And then I'll come back and answer the questions and then sign off for the night. So ask all your questions right now. I'll let them stack up. All right, guys, I'm back. Let's see what we got here. Have a good night, Jigga. Good to see you, brother. Good layer for Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male Parfum. I would say something very fresh to dial down the sweetness. You know, Bleu de Chanel would be a great choice. Amir Celestial or Ganymede. Lalique Lin Sumi would be great. Grey Vetiver. That's interesting, Marcus. Best gourmand. I'm not a big gourmand guy. I like stuff that's lightly gourmand. However, I did smell a fragrance recently that was the best gourmand I've smelled in a long time. It was from a house called Kerosene, Kerosine, and it smelled like lemon cupcakes, like a lemon buttercream frosting on a vanilla cupcake with waffle cone and ice cream and honey. It was absolutely incredible. It's called Kerosene Unknown Pleasures. Check that out. Also, Mercedes-Benz Club Black got people coughing at the office. Well, that's because, Lachlan, why would you wear a date night fragrance to the office? When you go to the office, you don't want to have a projective, seductive fragrance. You're wearing it in the wrong place. That's like me wearing Black Orchid to church. Just doesn't make sense. No, I mean, it's not a daily scent. It's a date night only scent. Recommendations for a vanilla forward fragrance, no leather or iris. Grand Soir. Maison Francis Kirkjohn, Grand Soir. Thoughts on French Avenue Royal Blend. Nero is better. French Avenue's Royal Blend Nero is better than the original. Just blind bought Jean-Paul Gaultier Paradise Garden. Wish me luck. It's a good fragrance, CT. You'll like it. What is the black bottle that has the celestial eagle on top of it? There isn't one. I have this, but the only two fragrances that have the Amir Celestial Eagle on it is Celestial and Fascination. Stronger With You Parfum is bad. Original is way better. Okay. You truly dig Stronger With You. Not going to lie, I was very underwhelmed. Smells like a premium for sure, but kind of like a grandma to me. You know, Stronger With You is, I mean, to me, if you like Stronger With You, you should just suck it up and get Angel Share. If you can't afford Angel Share, then you should get Amir Paris Corner Fire Your Desire. You know, it's like 90 to 90. I think it's 95% close to Angel Share. It's like Stronger With You is like trying to go gourmand, but doesn't. Angel Share is more of an elevated ramp up to that DNA. Yeah, wear a fresh light fragrance for work. Joel's 100% right. What's the most expensive fragrance you would consider to be worth the cost? So many. So many. There's so many, dude. I mean, that it's just an open-ended question. There's so many fragrances, man. You just name the house. I'm on the hunt for the best freshies. Look at my channel, Henry. You'll see a ton of them. I just dislike Latafa Kamra. Every fragrance video hypes it up. Kamra Kawa is better than Kamra. But that fragrance is so circumstantial. You can only wear it in a coffee shop or Thanksgiving or Christmas. You know, cold weather, extremely cold weather. You know, you smell like a barista. Every video hypes it up because Comra is one of the old school clone fragrances that smells good. It's not as much that it smells like Angel Share, because it doesn't. It's like 80%, maybe even 70% close to Angel Share, but it smells really good and you can get it for 20 bucks. That's why people hype it up. Sometimes context matters. Where do y'all find Lattafa? Is it mostly online? Well, you can find Lattafa just about anywhere. Burlington, any Perfume Mania or mall Middle Eastern store, and then mainly online. FragranceBuy.ca, Joma Shop, Max Aroma, Fragrance Net. You can find Lattafa anywhere. Just type the fragrance in on Google and it'll show you everywhere that carries it. All right, guys, that's all for me. I hope you guys found value. Hope I answered all your questions. If I didn't answer a particular question, put it in the comments section below of this video. I will answer it in less than 24 hours. I'm very quick about that. Stay tuned. Starting tomorrow, we're back to our normal everyday dropping new episodes and new shorts. So 3 pieces of content a day. And I've already got 30 videos in the queue on YouTube. 30 videos, and I have 200 fragrance reviews on the way on top of that I'll be knocking out over the next week. So this is where you'll want to be if you're looking for fragrance content. Love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Joel, thank you for your moderation and helping the chat out. Everybody else, thank you for your participation and questions in the chat, because without that, I would not be live. So thank you so much. Have a great, blessed week. And until next time, peace.